All right, ladies and gentlemen, we again were out of date immediately.
Yeah, we were. I think we also predicted that it wouldn't be him.
Yeah,
It was him.
I mean, we did say like there were just contradicting news non-stop around Bjelica, but yeah, Bjelica is back at Dinamo, and he's already won its first match. So I mean, already getting fired up and putting 5 past Lokomotiva, but
I mean, 6 if you count for Bancic.
I mean, if you count him.
He didn't even celebrate.
I mean, why would you? Did you
I'd
expect him to
want
take his shirt off at 3-1?
I'd want you make a point. You've made a point to your parent club. You should be like, you should be quite happy about that. Not sorry.
I'm sorry. You should be pointing at Bjelica. You should be pointing at Bjelica. I know you weren't here, but call me up, recall me, and my loan, please.
Yeah,
see what I can do.
You're making a point, aren't you? But
yeah,
no,
no. But yeah, Bjelica's back. So I mean, thoughts?
I mean, it's TBD. Obviously, it's very early days, and what we saw on Saturday, as we'll cover, it isn't much to really judge them from, because not only were Lokomotiva not up to too much, also, it was a 5-1 win, but 2 of those goals were second half injury time when the game was dead anyway. So it flattered them a bit. In terms of Bjelica, I think there's a couple of things. One is, since he left Dinamo first time, has his profile really improved? Did he, has he had a good time? I don't think Osijek was. Osijek for a short period was a good time.
Yeah,
and then when the bottom fell out, it really fell out. Trabzonspor, not really.
Nah.
Union,
nah.
Again, for a very short period, I think things went well, but obviously then they didn't.
Yeah.
So there's that. He's not coming into this. He's coming to some more experienced manager, but he's not necessarily coming to this a better manager.
Yeah.
And I think the second thing is, and I'm sure you'll have your thoughts on this in terms of the playing staff. What he put together in his first spell was a fantastic side. Let's not beat around the bush there. But it was a fantastic side that had, Osijek in his prime, that had Dani Olmo, that had a lot of things really this Dinamo side now don't. Had Ademi, 5-6 years younger, as well, able to do a lot more. So I think from personnel, this is a weaker side. He picks up a weaker side than he left off.
Yeah.
One, but also, I think a lot of the roles are different as well. If I think of the one big achievement of Bjelica at Dinamo first time around, it was bringing Osijek to the level he was at, but also bringing Olmo to the level he was at. Before Bjelica really got his hands on him, Dani Olmo would just be chucked on the left wing, and he was pretty inconsistent, if we're honest. And he decided, no, actually, I've got Osijek. He'll do the running on the left for you. You go in the centre and drive this side and really be a creator.
Yeah.
And he did that excellently. Well, now you've got Baturina. And he's a different player to Olmo. He's not as physical as Olmo. Is he going to be able to pull off the same? I think we saw a couple of moves where Baturina's positioning picked up nice areas that you would think Bjelica would want him to pick up there. But then you've got to have that runner on the left to do the wing work for you as well.
Yeah.
Which on Saturday was Hoxha. And I think possibly going forward it probably is going to be Hoxha, because he's more suited to, I think, what Bjelica would see in that sort of player.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it's not a comfortable fit. The advantage
it's not. Yeah, it's not as good as Osijek and Olmo, obviously. Yeah. Which it's Hoxha.
Yeah, but the advantage they have is that Hajduk and Rijeka did them a favour this weekend. So whatever damage the past 3 weeks has done to Dinamo, it's basically all been covered up and over. And also, I think if you're going into Europe with Bjelica wanting to be compact, which is what Dinamo side were first time round anyway. You know, they were very compact and then very explosive. You're going to stand a better chance than you would with Jakirovic.
Yeah, and obviously with Bjelica, they almost got through to the knockout stages in that group with Atalanta, Shakhtar, and City.
Yeah, and I mean, after we saw them, you know, get through to knockout stages in the Europa League. You know, I think it was the Pilsen games in the knockout rounds. So scored, one of the best team goals you'll see, full stop.
Yeah,
in football. So you know, his form of putting together a very special Dinamo side. Whether he's got the equipment right now to put it together to how he'd want it, I don't know.
No.
But yeah, I mean, let's be honest. This is a Dinamo side that's here now to win the higher now.
Yeah,
and you wouldn't bet against them.
No,
not that you would have anyway.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't think something really has to go wrong to bet against them. But yeah, I mean, Bjelica obviously, as you mentioned, already has that European success, and I think we won't be seeing 9 goals shipped past Nevistic ever again under Bjelica. I hope.
Well,
but I mean,
to go.
There's 7 games to go, one of which is Arsenal. But considering how compact Arsenal was against City, I don't think it's gonna be that much of a problem. But yeah, the question I also wanted to ask, we on last podcast, and I think everybody, the consensus was, if you're sacking Jakirovic, you want somebody that's better coming in. Is Bjelica a better option than Jakirovic?
In terms of right now, yes. In terms of if you'd let Jakirovic carry on the project he was putting together, probably not. We saw what Jakirovic could do at Zrinjski in terms of, you know, getting a side together, moulding it, and getting it to challenge in Europe. You don't do that. You know, you can't be judged on that after one season, after one game.
Yeah.
You need 2 or 3 goes at it, really, for you to have a proper idea of exactly where that side at. You know, you mentioned Zrinjski, you know, okay, it was Randulic who took Zrinjski to the group stages, but it was Jakirovic's side who took them. Yeah. So that, I think, it probably sums up my thoughts. If Bjelica can do what he did first time around, then, you know, no doubt he's the better choice than Jakirovic, and that's no slight on Jakirovic. I think Jakirovic's future, unfortunately for him, is probably going to be, he's the guy who's going to pick sides up going through a bad spell, get them up to sort of the top of the cycle, and then when things start to go, he disappears again. You know, you'd have him at an Osijek or someone like that, you know, but not a Dinamo again.
Yeah.
Unless he's created that sort of dynasty himself.
And
Bjelica has, he's got the PR as well.
Yeah, and also we got to remember how Bjelica left. You know, he didn't really, you know, it wasn't because of bad results. It was just COVID and, I mean, disagreements with the board on the wage cuts during COVID. So, you know, we didn't really get to see how Dinamo would have looked under him after, because, I mean, COVID is just too unique of a time in football, and obviously many managers, many players lost their jobs. So I mean, I do agree that Bjelica is probably the better option right now. If Jakirovic stayed, I mean, it's the past now. I don't think we can really focus much on that. It's more of the right now and then. So yeah, I think Bjelica is definitely the better option. And just in general, as we said, compact in Europe, and I think just Dinamo needs to be like that, because Dinamo against Bayern and last season against, for example, PAOK in the second leg, just too open, too many mistakes, and players just looked disinterested in both matches.
But you've got to be at that level to get those psychological skills at that level. You know, they fell apart against Bayern. They fell apart against Slaven last week. There's no doubt, no two ways about it. They just lost all their organisation and lost their heads. But you know, you've got to be exposed to that, and that doesn't just apply for a player. That applies for a manager as well in terms of the challenges. One of the things this is going to be the second time I've used this point in 24 hours, and I can't remember who it was that made it. But when you're talking about managing a Dinamo, but in terms of you're managing a club that is at a level above the clubs that are in the remainder of your league. If you're managing a Dinamo, if you're managing a Celtic, if you're managing Manchester United, Manchester City, Arsenal, Spurs, whoever, you've got to not just be a good manager, you've also got to be that type of manager as well. It's almost a completely different skill set to running Osijek. And you can be good at one and not good at the other. And maybe that's what we're going to see, is that, Bjelica is this sort of manager whose skill set is, I need to be at a big club, I need to be at a successful club, that's where I work best. But when I go to Osijek, Trabzonspor, Union,
Berlin,
and I'm working to build a side up, I'm not that good. And that's just the type of manager he is. And that's just the type of job it is.
Yeah. I think it's definitely the best suit for him from what we've seen from him. Yeah. So, he got close to a title with Osijek, but, not that close in the end. What else? What was I going to mention? Oh, you mentioned Man United on a level above the rest of the clubs in the league. No.
Financially and organizationally.
Financially and organizationally, yes, but everything else, no.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of the setup that you've got around as a support, in terms of the amount of staff, it's almost like managing that club is almost like being a corporate CEO.
Yeah, it is.
But Ten Hag shit at it. So
he building a dynasty. Dynasties must come to an end, and anytime he loses, well, I won 2 cups. What do you want?
Someone else, I think, is what most people want.
Yeah, and better results.
Yeah.
But speaking of better results, Lokomotiva were definitely hoping for a better result on Saturday, but 5-1, as we already mentioned. It is a bit pumped by Torrente just scoring the same exact goal twice in 2 minutes, 4 minutes actually. So, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think if you're Lokomotiva, you probably take that it wasn't a bad.
It wasn't a bad performance.
Like we said with Istra on the first day of the season against Dinamo, you've actually had your asses handed to you in terms of just the pure result on paper, but the performance itself wasn't that bad.
It was just it was because of the quality of Petkovic's shot, because of quality who scored the first goal. It was Baturna, just quality cross from Ristovski. Baturna just in the right place at the right time, just knows where to be. Jimmy, those 2 goals, quality of the players. It's not Dinamo out. It's not that Dinamo completely outplayed Lokomotiva off the park. It's just 3 good goals, and
there's nothing you can do about. There's nothing you can do about the free kick. There's nothing you can really do about Baturna.
Yeah.
Second half injury time, 3-1 down. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't help your goal difference, but
no. But if that's just losing concentration, that's being tired, that's being 3-1 down and having been under the cosh. It is what it is, and I think it's good for Torrente to, first of all, for us to see him, but also to be able to get goals. And even Ademi's goal, that was fluky.
The setup setup was great. That's the goal. That if Ademi finished it the first time, that's an amazing goal.
Mm-hmm.
Because RPG obviously plays the ball. Petkovic sees Ademi run, and he's like, you know what, have it. Lets the ball through his legs, and Ademi just, a bit lucky with the rebound from Šubarić, but yeah.
I think probably one of the things we'll sort of see develop quite quickly is Petkovic knowing where Bjelica wants him to be. There were a couple of times we saw him drop deep. Now, we saw him play deep plenty last season. A lot of the time he was a midfielder, pretty much. But, he was dropping into those gaps that you would expect Baturna to be going into and letting everyone run forward ahead of him, which is what he did under Bjelica the first time round.
Yeah, and he was amazing.
Yeah. So if you can get that out of him, then that's a real really big bonus, as
Yeah.
long as they've got the players around him.
Yeah, I mean, Cordoba didn't have the greatest of games, as you mentioned. Hoja on the left. We should mention Cordoba on the right, who I mean, just needs more time, just to get to the hang of things.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is the first game of a new manager you want to
Yeah.
impress, don't you? And he didn't, particularly when you know you've got Piazza,
Yeah.
who's going to be around there wanting to take that. Well, not wanting.
Yeah, and you also
he will take that spot.
and you also have Stojkovic, who can play in your position, which and
Stikic as
Cacciavenda,
well.
and Cacciavenda's also kind of coming back. So
yeah, I think Cacciavenda, how they reintegrate him, I think would be quite interesting, because I almost think he might suit what Bjelica wants more than Baturin does.
But the problem with Cacciavenda is on what level is he currently after his injury? So, you know, if you can build him up, then maybe. But I think by the time he actually gets in some good form that resembles, his past self, Baturin will probably be already on the way out.
Which is ideal, really.
Yeah, that would be perfect for Dinamo.
Yeah, that's January sorted.
Yeah. What else? Marko Rog. I mean, he can play in that position and almost scored the banger, even though it did take a deflection off into the crossbar.
Yeah, but that's a few games in a row. Since he had that one very good performance about 3 weeks ago, each time he's come on, he's done stuff and had chances and not put anything
scored
away.
Yeah,
and the longer that happens, the more you think your future beyond January isn't decided yet. And
yeah,
unless you actually start scoring, it's going to be in Italy.
Yeah, but he's coming into the chances. He's creating chances, just not putting them away.
Yeah.
Torrente. I think we spoke about Torrente last episode where we were like, yeah, we haven't seen a lot from him, and just immediately comes on, and I mean, very decent performance. Scored the 2 goals, which, as we said, just Lokomotiva fell asleep. It's the 90 plus. It's just get it over with.
Yeah, I mean, really, what's going to tell is what they start against Monaco, as to where Bjelica's thinking is at the moment. Because let's be honest, Bernard is not going to be in that thinking. But Torrente might have done enough to put himself in that thinking. Yeah,
and Theophil had a bit of a knock. Stojkovic too. That's why they weren't in the matchday squads.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if I think Bjelica said that Theophil will be back for Monaco.
Lucky Dinamo.
Lucky Monaco.
Lucky Monaco, yeah. Well, they could always just play Mamai. Yeah, I mean, there's still things on there that it is quite hard to judge, because obviously, this is a game where they would have rotated anyway.
Yeah. But they were forced.
Yeah, but they were forced.
What else? We're yet to see Oliveras. I just some playing time. Who does Dinamo have up next? Is it?
Well, aside from Monaco.
After Monaco, it's Varaždin. Yeah.
But that's an awkward.
That's an awkward one.
And you would you wouldn't want to be putting a rookie left back in there.
No, you wouldn't. What else? I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with everything we mentioned. Baturin amazing. Petkovic, I mean, just what a goal.
Yeah.
If you have Petkovic shooting from like the left or the center part of the pitch, a free kick, just give up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's 2 exceptional free kick goals this weekend. I think this is the better, because this is the
better, just because I mean, we can get into Osijek, Varaždin.
Yeah, this is the better, because,
as we already segued into it.
This is better because, unlike the game, unlike Jakubovic's goal, with Jakubovic, I think you can maybe point at Silic a bit.
Yeah,
and say you should be doing a bit.
The problem, I looked at the replay of that goal, because there's only one replay where you can see the ball move somewhat, but the ball goes up over the frame of the camera, so you can't see if the ball is moving. So we don't really have a nice camera angle to show us if the ball, because it somehow looks like he knuckleballed it in a way, so it kind of just moved and then all of a sudden
horribly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. The goalkeepers union can have it out with me if they want, but I think Zeneca would save that.
Yeah, but he injured his finger.
Yes. So
when I saw the lineup, I was like, "Oh no! Don't tell me he's injured." And then I opened the TV broadcast. He injured his finger, singular. Just
I mean, it's quite an important thing to injure when you're a goalkeeper. To be fair,
keeper, yeah. I'm just asking, what finger is it, like the thumb? Is it the like which finger is it? The middle finger?
Well, we'd wonder what he's been doing if it was the middle finger.
Yeah. But yeah, see, I mean, just in standard in the replay, just it looks silly from Silic, because he just looks like he's watching the ball, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta react," and just jumps and tries to do something.
Yeah, I think he possibly should have saved it, but it's still a fantastic goal.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic
but
shot.
Petkovic's is better because we can't give an excuse to that.
No, Petkovic is just unreachable.
Yeah. But I mean, it's 2 good goals for Osijek, I think, and 2 good goals for
Jakupovic, yeah. Getting started.
Yeah, I mean, I think the second one is, for people who haven't watched much of Jakupovic, that's really what his game is about. Is he's running in from a right-sided channel, right side of the defender, diagonally, able to pick it up, and it's a regulation finish, but it's put away exactly where it needed to be.
Yeah.
And it was good link up as well.
Yeah, and it's a very nice assist from Pusic, who just dips it enough to go over whoever the defender was from Varaždin. I think it was Nakic on that side.
Yeah.
Just dip it over his foot.
Yeah, but I think the second most important thing was Osijek hanging on.
Yeah.
Because they did have to hang on, because Varaždin were probably, on the balance of it, the better side.
Yeah, it's again just a matter of fact that Osijek wasn't great again, and they got a result 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I think for Varaždin, there's a few things that we expect. Now, Mitrovsky had a good game. I think there's clubs who wouldn't look at him because he's not the sort of right winger that you expect in terms of, he doesn't beat players, he doesn't want to get on the outside, or he just wants to hang around, he wants to drop in space. But if you find him in space, he's almost always got the final ball for you. There's a couple of times in that game you found that Lakovic, I think before the opening goal, Sego, he found a couple of times he's dipped in, he's maybe about 35 yards out, but he's in a pocket of space.
Yeah.
Sort of in a channel almost between or behind where Dantas should be. But no one's come forward to close him down from the defence. He's just able to turn and put the pass that needs to be put over the top cross field to open Osijek up. Varaždin couldn't take advantage of it this time, and not because Dabro wasn't hitting anything or anything like that. Just
I don't think he really had a chance this time, so we can't really. Yeah, we can put it on him.
It was other players at fault this time.
It was other players.
But the supply line was there.
They had chances.
Yeah, they absolutely they had chances certainly to get a point from this game at least.
Yeah. Only the issue is only Luka Mamic scored in the 90th minute, and then it was just it kind of brought some kind of nervousness into Osijek for the last 4 minutes. But they, as you already said, they held on.
Yeah, and that's what they've needed all season.
Yeah, I mean, they've been needing it, but 3 games in a row now, Osijek unconvincing, but winning.
Yeah,
I think Kompetitor realized, so let's not play better, because obviously that's not getting us results. Let's just play, badly, and that let's see what happens, and it's getting results.
But this is it. They've got Istra next, then Šibenik, both away games. So it's not necessarily going to be an easy 6 points.
No.
But they've got Dinamo after that. So this is the time where they need to get those points up. If they can make it 6 points from those 2 games, then there's going to be no problem with them being fourth.
Yeah.
This season.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see, because I mean, Varaždin, we just gotta see if Dabra can get his shooting boots on as Jakubovic did. He needs one of these games like where just one shot just goes the right way, as Jakubovic's free kick did.
Yeah, but I don't think Varaždin will keep that side together beyond the winter.
I mean, if they continue playing like this, then no.
Yeah, I think Mitrowski definitely has suitors. Shego, if he doesn't have suitors, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah.
I think there will be clubs in the background talking to them already.
Yeah, and I think people will also definitely look at Lamina Ba, as they did at Pelumbi last season, and just snatch him up. Pelumbi went to Hungary, I think. I forgot which team.
I can't remember.
Yeah, but it was a good fee for Varaždin. I think it was like half a million to like 600K for him.
Yeah, and obviously they had last season Teklic fee as well.
Yeah,
and that's probably that's got to be their business model in terms of bringing these players on, selling them on.
And it is. I mean, they've shown it.
Yeah, and you keep getting decent fees. Those fees go up as you get your reputation for being this is a good development place.
Yeah,
they can work on that now, and probably it puts $250,000 on any fee they sell a good player for now.
Yeah. What else? Oh no, Blagojevic red card. That's Šibenik. Šibenik Istra.
Yep.
Should we swap to Šibenik Istra, the first of the 0-0 draws?
Yes, there's not much really to say for him.
Not except the red card. Yeah. I mean, Šibenik tried, but couldn't really threaten Mike just all that much.
No, I think the only thing really that caught my interest from it was Tarantani being like, give us time. Right, are you in trouble?
Yeah,
you're not in trouble of they're not in trouble of relegation, but they've only scored 4 goals this season. That's obviously a problem. But
yeah, but I think that was
when we ever get together, we're usually quite positive about Istra.
Yeah. But I think that was because of the fans. I think the fans were somewhat screaming at Tramezzani to sub Blagojevic off, because whenever Blagojevic is already on a yellow, that's territory where anything he does is probably a second yellow.
Yeah.
And Blagojevic, as being Slavko Blagojevic, just decided to absolutely elbow Ante Kovac in the face, like he's in the UFC. The ball's in the air. You literally have nothing to do, and you're just like, you know what? Let me elbow you.
Yeah.
Straight into the face. I mean, great contact. Like, you can definitely be in the UFC with that, but you're on a football pitch, mate. You're on a football pitch. So, I got sent off. Was kind of surprised, which I always love when players just do that kind of thing, which is clearly a foul. And then you're like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, not much happened.
Yeah. I mean, having covered that in about 90 seconds, at least that had a red card, unlike Rijeka took.
Yeah. I mean, but before we move on, the only highlight from the match is actually in the 7th minute when Lisica hits the post. If that went in, then maybe we had a game, but it didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were left dry of goals then and on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably the worst game of the season so far.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to think of one that's worse anyway.
Olympia 5-0.
Well, for a different reason.
For a different reason. But yeah.
I mean, when you catch up on highlights of the game and you see the first highlights 27 minutes in, you're like, yep, one of these games.
I mean, you can just look at the match momentum on SofaScore, whatever has match momentum on a football app.
Yeah, it's just the
You just
x-axis.
Yeah, you just have like two bars that are like, oh, that might have been something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, these Stipe Persa really had a good chance right at the end of the game, which I mean, he just put way over the goal.
Yeah.
Who else? Kurgovic had a chance and Smojic had a chance. Smojic had a really good, and both were blocked. Very good.
Yeah, it was all half chances into congestion bodies. I mean, even that pressure chance you mentioned right at the end, he had a man right next to him. It was not
it wasn't clearly. It wasn't a clear chance.
Yeah.
But it was a chance.
Yeah.
which is more than we can say about the rest of the game.
Yeah, when you starved a bit, anything's a chance. But
yeah.
Like I said, this was, Dinamo winning was one thing, but this was the real win for Dinamo. Because if you come out of this and you're still,
2 points behind.
One of these sides won, you're 4 points behind, you've not gained anything. And it's still going to be difficult.
Yeah.
But, it's really, it's handed the momentum straight back to them, even though, obviously, Rijeka have only conceded once this season in the league.
Yeah.
Plenty in Europe, but only once in the league.
Listen, they conceded 9 in Europe, but only 1 in the league. So,
Yeah. We'll see how long they keep that up for in terms of Europe being more concessions than the league. But I don't know whether that says more about Rijeka or more about
Hajduk.
Striking.
Striking.
Well, in general in the HNL, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't really do much. And I think it's particularly disappointing coming off, not just beating Dinamo, but also coming off a big win to do.
I mean, both teams came off a big win.
Yeah.
Rijeka beat Šibenik 3-0 and Gorica and Hajduk beat Gorica 4-1. So, both very big wins. But what I wanted to mention, before this derby, we had five years since the last draw between Hajduk and Rijeka. So for 5 years, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and even 2 games in 2024, all matches that somebody won.
Yeah. Usually
I think it was usually most of the time, like 60-70% of the time, Rijeka. But we finally got a draw for the first time since 2019, which, I mean, considering everything, both clubs are still undefeated. They were like, you know what? If we lose, Dinamo's right there, behind you. So both teams was like, you know what? Let's draw. You keep your undefeated record. We keep our undefeated record in the league. Hajduk has never been undefeated in the first quarter of the league since Hajduk switched to 10 teams to a 10-team league. So you can break that record, guys.
Or you can just stick your money on Šibenik.
Yeah. I mean, the only things that we can actually talk about is Torcida and Armada putting up some flares. And a kid spitting at Rakitic, one of the best Croatian football players in history. And just, I mean, I mean, it's funny to me because Rakitic is one of the best, was just instrumental to the 2018 run to the final. Scored 2 penalties, ice cold, ice in the veins, scores 2 penalties in the same exact spot against Denmark and Russia. And then you have a kid who was born like 3-4 years before that spitting at you just because you're playing for Hajduk.
Proper football.
I mean, yeah, the kid needs to be taught some manners, but the problem is everybody does that at Rujevica.
Yeah, it's
like everybody does that on a pitch that's I'm not condoning it. That nobody should be spitting on players or fourth officials, which they also do. Let me break the news to you.
But it is kind of funny.
It is kind of funny.
Kid doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be funny if it's an adult, because if it's an adult, you're like, yeah, he's gone in the head. If it's a kid, you're like, yeah, he's gone in the head, but like, he can still learn, hopefully. But the problem is, I'm just hoping his dad is not like, Like when imagine if the dad was at home and he was like sick and he just sees his son on TV spinning at Rakitic, and the son comes home. Bravo, boy! That was the best performance of the night. Bravo.
I think the bigger danger is if his mum sees it.
Oh yeah. I just hope that kid. I mean, I do not hope he gets a beating, but fucking get taught, like teach him some manners. Teach him some manners. Like Joffrey was way. I'm actually not Joffrey in Game of Thrones. He was way worse. Actually, let me not compare the two. But yeah, teach your kids some manners and do not spit at players, please.
Yes.
And especially don't take a wind up, because the kid was on the railing and just like a catapult did that.
You've got to have the technique. If you've not got the technique, what is the point?
What are you doing?
Yeah. So,
but yeah,
artistic impression 10 out of 10. Intent 0.
Yeah. Teach your kids some manners, and please, if you ever see your kid do that, just tell them, hey, this is a guy who led us to the semifinal in 2018. So have some kind of respect.
If my kids ever do that, I'll be sure to.
If they spit at Rakitic.
I'm not sure my children even know how to spit, to be honest.
Well, that kid does. Somebody does. Yeah.
I'll send him to Rijeka for some lessons.
Spitting lessons.
Yes.
At the Rijeka. What else?
This is how we should do it. Is when you upload it onto YouTube and onto the channel, so you have your proper name, and then when I retweet it or whatever, I'll just have the name from the context of the episode. So tomorrow's for myself will be spitting lessons at Rijeka. There we go.
Fair enough. I mean, the problem is that's the only talking point of the match.
Yes.
That's honestly the biggest problem. What else can we mention? I mean, Kalik started again. But I mean, Gattuso has 2 things he wants to do this season: make Kalik an actual football player and try to win a trophy with Hajduk, maybe the league. And the second one is far, far, far more realistic than the first one.
They may be mutually exclusive.
Yeah. I mean, Kalik did this thing, which he always does, is run at the opposition very angrily, and provoke them a little bit, make a little foul here and there, which he does perfectly.
Did.
Yeah, I that's probably why he likes him. Yeah, that's probably why he likes him. He's like, the first time Gattuso was at the training ground at Hajduk, he was like, "Who's that guy, bald and just runs nonstop at the opposition?" Well, that's Anthony Kalik. Straight in the lineup, the only player that has 100% guarantee in my lineup. Not even Livaya has that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else? Biuk, I mean, just unconvincing again. I'm just hoping Biuk can, start doing something.
Yeah.
I just hope he gets confidence. He just needs some, like, if you be your man and you have a chance to shoot or to cross, just do it. If you see like, oh, I can shoot. If you can cross. But the problem is, yeah, just do the basics. But the problem is he beats one man and he just holds on to the ball, kind of pushes it with his right foot, oh, let's go, and then tries to do something and either loses the ball or puts a cross way too late.
Yeah, it's that lack of confidence leading to you just overplaying things.
Yeah. And I just want him to do the simple things.
Yeah.
Which is obviously, as Johan Cruyff said, the toughest way to play football. Yeah. The simple way. But yeah, what about Galicic? I mean, absolutely pickpocketed Livaya. Livaya wasn't really to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
He had one chance from outside the box, put it wide, and that's pretty much it from Livaya.
Yeah.
Apart from a header here and there, but yeah. Cholina. Let's talk about the refereeing performance, which he was just bad for both sides. I mean, no, it's just bad for everybody, even the fans at the game and fans in front of the TV screen. Just sometimes he lets a foul go on, sometimes just calls a foul which just doesn't exist. But yeah, that's troll enough for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think we've done well to wring that much out of that game.
We've tried our best.
We've tried, but stuff did actually happen in Gorica Slaven, which finished 2 hours ago.
Yeah, 2-1. So the game got postponed from Saturday to Monday because, I mean, who wants to play on a water polo pitch in Velika Gorica? Not Slaven nor Gorica again.
I mean, they usually do. To be fair.
For some reason, they did last season. They played on ice and a water polo pitch.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I think they heard our weeps from last season. They were like, okay, fair enough. Nobody wants to watch that. I guess nobody wants to see 4 penalties in one game, 3 missed, 1 scored, or 2 scored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only good if it's funny. You can't guarantee it's going to be funny when it's Gorica versus Slaven, let's be honest.
Yeah. We had a funny moment, but
yeah.
Well, we'll get to it. So, I mean, the game starts off. What happened before? Was it the penalty or was it the disallowed goal?
Disallowed.
Which I have no idea how that was even let to, how the ref even allowed that to even go to VAR.
It was. I mean, the thing is, I think there will be people who have watched it and thought there's not enough contact there. And watching the replays, I think the first angle they show, which is sort of from behind the goal, there's not enough contact there. But then you kind of show the wider angles, and it's like you literally just run, make a small attempt to jump, but just run into the goalkeeper. And like you know, the ball, you're only trying to take out Dushak. He's perfectly fine at doing that himself, as we'll get to later. He had a strange game in terms of firstly, the save he pulled off from the scissors kick.
From Kolar. I mean, first of all,
incredible.
First of all, save incredible, but that attempt from Marco Kolar, I was like, and then Sushek somehow gets to it. That just stops your football that you don't even see in the Premier League or La Liga or the Bundesliga.
Exactly. Yeah, it was perfect contact on it, and
and it's going top bins too. It's going top bins too, and once I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's a goal, and I'm immediately grabbing my phone, preparing to send out the tweet that there's been a goal. But Sushak, my God,
it's a robbery.
Yeah, and then he does a robbery on himself.
Yes, I mean he had another good save later on. I can't remember who it was from, but it was another one where I'm like, oh, you're having a very good game, and then, but yeah, Slaven. I think there was one key topic if you're watching this game as an opposition analyst, you would look at for both sides. It's like neither of them can defend set pieces.
No,
lives.
No. They need set piece coaches because if they do not have set piece coaches, and if they do, sack them.
Yeah. I mean, the penalty, it's just terrible. It should have been cleared about 4 times before.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
Akaponu gave it away. And it was quite annoying because obviously last time against Dinamo, we were so hot on praise.
He didn't get a yellow, though. He didn't get a
yellow.
He
didn't get a yellow, no, but he did give away a penalty, which in many ways is worse.
Yeah.
But I mean, even Martinovic's goal, it's mistakes, but again, it's things that should have been cleared, not being cleared. You have penalty appeal again, VAR going in the second half. Again, it's things that should be cleared, not being cleared.
Dolchik's miss. Yeah. I mean, how he's. At first I thought Pushir blocked it because I mean, how do you miss from there? And then the camera angle from that side of the goal, looking that way, I'm like, oh my God, he's put it over the bar. How?
Yeah. So, in a sense, you can see why both of these sides are near the bottom.
Yeah.
There are positives. Paiaziti again looks
just amazing.
It's just
that run he had, that short dribble where he be like, I think just got rid of 3 players with one dribble. I mean, my God,
yeah,
amazing.
and it just felt like every time Gorica were turning it over in a decent position, it was him who was doing the turning
Yeah,
over, and just he's got a bit of a free roll to roam and to annoy people and put himself about a bit, and he's doing it so well.
yeah,
Okay, what 3-4 games in of him, but you can already see he's certainly better than Gorica. He's
yes,
possibly
better than
this
Gorica,
level.
100%, 100%. If Fulham want to sell him, I think Dinamo, Hajduk, or Rijeka should definitely look into it.
Yeah, and he probably would do a job for them now.
Yeah,
But yeah, we'd probably have to get to the bit where things went embarrassing.
yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's paint the scene for you. So, there's Banic puts the ball right in front of the box. There's a header. I think Akbakporno even heads it back
Mm-hmm.
to the penalty area, where Susha comes out, claims the ball, and drops it right next. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, but still drops the ball.
Yeah, he still drops the ball. That's the important thing for goalkeepers to not do. Is to
Yeah,
drop the ball, particularly not when you drop it to the feet of
yeah,
an opposition player.
especially when Martin Schlogar is right here.
Yeah, yes, it is. Thanks. We'll take
Just
3
said
points,
thanks.
please.
Boom, done. And Slaven Belupo is left with another loss, and they're now last.
Yeah,
Which is good for me because I predicted them last. But I mean,
yeah.
I wasn't expecting this.
Well, we weren't expecting it as this, but then also we wouldn't have expected them to beat Dinamo 4-1.
True.
So, they've probably got 3 more points than they deserve. Maybe that's a bit harsh. I mean, they certainly didn't deserve to lose this. Particularly when you have a goalkeeper put on a good performance and then that
does that.
You can't really
Yeah.
have anything prepare for that. Banic was back. Banic was good.
Yeah, I was about to mention. Yeah, wasn't even in the lineup before this. I think he was exiled, and then Gorica was like, "Ivan, something happened to Božidar. Can you come into the boardroom, please?
Yeah,
we need to talk."
Hadn't missed a beat, really.
No,
unsurprisingly, this is it's just what it is. He's just a good goalkeeper for in a bad side.
Yeah,
and a bad goalkeeper in a good side. But yeah, I mean, it lifts them as far as they're concerned. They're 4 clear of 7. That's what really matters.
Yeah,
from it. And Lokomotiva 9th, 1 point clear of 7. Now you start to think, are they maybe in trouble? I don't think so. Slaven aren't good enough right now.
They could be. I mean, they have the players. The Kovacic just needs to bring it out of them.
Yeah, I think the difference between Slaven and the other sides around them is there's not a player you can point to who's you say, right, okay, you're going to be the guy that makes the difference.
Yeah,
we can say Pajaziti.
Bashir even.
Yeah, Bashir as well. At Istra, you look at the front line and think that's going to come good eventually. At Lokomotiva, it's Lokomotiva. They've probably got a child who will just come in and
they probably have a 17-year-old just warming up to come on in the second part of the season and just score a hat trick against Hajduk, Dinamo, Rijeka, and then we're like, oh my god, he's amazing.
And then he goes to Dinamo and we don't see him again ever. But with Slaven don't have that player, and that's the big difference. Muric should have been that player.
Should be,
not.
Yeah.
Dolcek and Gugic have come on to games.
They have glimpses, but yeah.
The glimpses, but now they're up to fitness, and they're still only glimpses.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be relying on Nestorovsky, I hope.
No. And, from a defensive perspective, they're okay at best. And I think the problem they have is, one that is mentioned, Akpone loves getting a yellow card.
Yeah.
But you're going to have times they're always going to have times, particularly as we get later into the season, where they're missing players through suspensions.
Yeah.
And this first quarter of the season is probably where they needed to start getting their points before they start having troubles with availability.
Yeah. What else? I mean, should we get into this week's Monaco match?
Yeah.
Dinamo facing off against Monaco for the first time. Champions League returns to the Maximir. Can Bjelica get a result against Monaco?
I mean, it won't be difficult to improve.
I mean,
the bar's been set very, very low.
Don't lose by 7 goals, please.
Yes. But Monaco are good.
I mean, they beat Barcelona first off.
Yeah, that's the analysis you've got me here for. Monaco are good.
Monaco are very good.
Monaco are very good. They've got a lot in attack. What Monaco have is a lot of these players who you see once every 2 or 4 years at an international tournament, and you're like, oh, they're at a mid-team, but they're very good. Embolo, real Embolo, yeah, definition of that. Balogun, Golovin, again, definition of that. Minamino, we saw you plenty at Liverpool. Wasn't really that good.
But still a good player.
Yeah, we don't want to see you at international tournaments. They've got just, the Swiss guys.
Swiss guys.
The things you don't, but, the players you don't see regularly in club football, unless you're specifically watching that league.
Yeah.
And I'm not watching Ligue 1. No one is watching Ligue 1 because they couldn't get a deal. But like you say, obviously, first and foremost, they beat Barca, which, okay.
I mean, Ter Stegen helped them a lot.
Yeah, and maybe that's not as good an achievement as it was before Osasuna beat them. But
yeah,
still, you sort of look at the start to the season that they've had. They've only dropped points in 1 game against Lens, and I think Lens are they didn't get into the Conference League through the playoffs. But, they're obviously a decent outfit. They've beaten Lyon while down to 10 men, so they've got the character. Obviously, they beat Barca. They're a good side. But this will have been one of the games Dino identified to say we have to do something in this game.
Yeah, you need the results. You need at least a draw to be like, yeah, we can. And they definitely need at least a point here if you want to go through, because that goal difference is probably gonna be the end of you if you're on 9 points with whoever's in that 24th spot.
Yeah, that isn't going to change. Really, you are always going to have to have it on points, and you need to be making 3s and not 1s. If we're honest. So, from that perspective, I'm not sure how Bjelica would want to approach this game. Whether you actually go out looking for a win, or whether you just like, okay, we've come from a really bruising experience. We want to just, if we get 0-0 and it's a ball fest, we're happy with that, because it resets everything psychologically.
Yeah, it does.
And if we're honest, if you get 1 point, you're not going to be 36th in the table, because you will have plenty of sides who, that's just a ridiculous statement, isn't it? But you will have sides who lose both of their first 2 games. The key is to not be completely
lost,
detached. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you for the remainder of Dinamo's games in the competition, you've got, and I speak this from having watched them, you've got Slaven Bratislava. If you're not getting 3 points against Slaven Bratislava, then
you're doing something wrong.
You don't belong in this tournament, because they were, obviously, I haven't watched them against Celtic. They're absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, I was actually just gonna.
Goal.
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask you about that right now, because obviously Celtic and Slaven, as you already mentioned, are both opponents of Dinamo that are, to be played or later in the Champions League. So, what about Celtic? Because I watched some highlights of the game, and I think just Celtic looks like they can run for days.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I mean, maybe if it was happening in January, you might be like, okay, maybe Dino have a bit of a chance here.
Yeah,
Celtic, I expect Celtic to be in the knockout stages from the top 24.
yeah,
Because one, the draw's easy, but two, like you say, there's so much energy in that side. They're just a horrible team to play against, I can imagine. Because and you probably have seen the clips of Daisen Maeda, and the clips of him from this weekend. 6-0 up in second half injury time.
just yeah.
You don't need to chase back, but he just loses the ball and runs
They
70
do.
yards back to dispossess guy. Like who does that? You crazy person. But it's brilliant.
And Celtic is just dominating.
Yeah, and the other thing you have in that side is also I don't think necessarily everyone's in form yet, which is the scary thing.
Not everybody's in form yet. What's gonna be in December?
Yeah, that's going to be the scary thing for Dino. I think there's elements of Celtic that Dinamo could do quite well against. I think depending on how Bjelica wants to develop Baturna, I think he can find spaces in behind.
I think too.
But you probably would need everything to go right, because if we're entirely honest, whoever Dinamo have on the wing as fullback options are going to have a bad day.
Yeah.
For Slaven Bratislava, they weren't good.
No.
I think the thing that showed them happy to be there, and God bless them, I love them for this, is just when the Champions League teams showing and they just start going along the teams, and you see everyone from Slaven Bratislava with a really just stern face on, and Tolic is just smiling his face off like, I'm so happy to be here, man.
I've been waiting for this. I'm not on the bench, thank God.
It's like, okay, you're getting your passport. You're here to get some countries in your passport. That's about it. As much as I like him as a player, that's pretty much their attitude towards it. And I mean, it was 5-1 in that game. If Celtic had put another couple past them, no one would have complained. They were absolutely outclassed, and I don't think Dinamo will be outclassed in that way by Celtic. Do I think Dinamo will outclass Slovan? We saw Slovan against Celje. Celje fell apart in that qualifier in the second leg. Once they went down to 10. I think it was Kvesic who got sent off in that one, if I remember him rightly.
Oh yeah, Kvesic, yeah.
But I think that's a very different thing to point out, because they had a new manager in. They were down to 10 men, needed to win the game because of the first leg result. So that's why Slaven took them apart, and that's really the evidence I have on Slaven Bratislava. It's one game where they got absolutely outclassed, one game where they absolutely outclassed.
They classed the opponent, yeah.
So I think between Dinamo, it's somewhere in the middle, and I would expect for Slaven Bratislava, Dinamo to be, even though it's an away game, Dinamo to be winning it, but probably by the odd goal rather than really taking them to the cleaners. Yeah,
I mean, they need to win it if they want anything more. So that's not really up to debate.
Yeah, and the same comes, I think, for Salzburg as well.
Yeah,
that's got to be a must-win game.
I mean, everything is now a must-win.
Yeah.
Fix your outlook on everybody, please.
Yeah,
because everybody thinks you're shit.
Yeah, everything's a must-win game, but I mean, you have to take advantage of. Okay, Monaco, less so. You got to take advantage of your home games. You've got to take advantage of your games against sides not in form, which is Salzburg to a T. They aren't in a good state this season so far. Slovan, we've seen, aren't in a good state. Now then, your other home games are what? Dortmund, Celtic, and Milan, which, ouch. So it's going to be difficult. If you can get individual points if Dinamo can get single points from their home games, if you get 3 points from those 4 games, I think that they'd have reason to be happy with that, because I think their real points gaining opportunities are going to be the away games.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, after losing 1-9-2.
Yeah, we'll see. Anything else? I mean, we can shortly preview. We can shortly just talk about the 9th round, the last game of the first quarter of the league.
Yes, of course.
So it starts off on Friday with Istra Osijek.
Traditional Easter Friday.
Yeah, the three times in a row now.
Yeah,
they're getting back. They're finally back.
They should be Osijek, really, shouldn't it? If they're back, then they should be them, and maybe putting in an impressive performance.
Yeah, but they're gonna win because Pavloval is gonna miss 2 chances. Maršić is gonna miss a penalty, and Osijek is gonna score. Jakubovic is probably gonna get another goal, and somebody completely else is gonna score another, and it's gonna be like 2-0, 2-1 again.
Yeah.
Lokomotiva Gorica. Lokomotiva at home,
which looks big after today.
Yeah, Lokomotiva they need a result again.
Yeah, it's probably one way if you go out and you win that game, you probably now at the point where people can turn around and be like, yeah, you're probably not going to be in too much bother this season. For Lokomotiva, if you lose that game, you're in bother.
Yikes.
Yeah. But they won't be bottom by the end of this weekend because Slaven have to play Rijeka.
Yeah, Slaven have to play Rijeka. Slaven, can they replicate the win against Dinamo? No.
Because Rijeka would probably just score 3 times from...
3 times yards. Pasalic will probably score one. Maybe Fruk has a go. Maybe Gojak is yet to score. So maybe he'll have a go.
They'll share it around. Maybe Zlomisic will do it now. He's capped.
Yeah, he's called up, but not yet capped. But yeah, can someone score a goal? Probably not, but
they did today.
Yeah, but against Rijeka, I'm talking about against Rijeka.
Yeah, no.
Because they've only conceded 1.
No, unless they bring Nuric on and he's just like, Rijeka? Wait, I remember when I was at Rijeka. I had form there.
And it just scores a goal from the corner.
Yeah.
Again. Varaždin Dinamo should be an entertaining match. We'll see how Varaždin fares against Dinamo.
And see what side Dinamo put out as well. If it's,
after Monaco. It probably won't be.
Yeah, it's an awkward one. After a European game, you don't want to be having Varaždin away. I think let's be honest.
It's also they also dropped points I think Szego then scored the winner. It was like 2 years back, I think. But they also had a European game, and then they had Varaždin, then they dropped points, and everybody was like, okay. I think Hajduk especially, then I think they jumped Dinamo or something like that. So obviously you don't want Varaždin away after any kind of midweek European game.
Yeah, well, they had it. It was Varaždin with the last game before the November international break last time around, so that will have been following a Conference League game, and it it was 1-1. Then it was
it might be that
Jostek scoring, but I think you're right on both counts, to be fair, because it was Szego, but that was when they're going through qualifying.
It could be, yeah. I remember some. I think I remember Szego scoring against Dinamo.
Yeah. And then Hajduk Šibenik to round off the weekend.
Yeah. A Dalmatian derby.
Yeah.
First one this season.
And it'll be an interesting one just because we don't... 9 games in, we probably should know where Šibenik are, really, but they're not.
Yeah. Against the bigger side, against Dinamo and Rijeka, they haven't done a lot. They just, conceded 3 goals and boom, and that's it.
Yeah. But Hajduk aren't really a side that score 3 goals.
Unless they can replicate the game against Gorica, but we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. Šibenik need a bit of form, and Hajduk need a bit of form as well, which is, again, weird because they're still unbeaten. I don't quite know how that works, but yeah.
They need playing form. They need to be playing well.
Yes.
Not just for one game, Gennaro. Just, 4 or 5 games, in a row, please.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for listening, and this was a bit quicker than previous episodes. I mean, we did have 2 nil draws where nothing happened, and a kid spat on Rakitic, but that's it.
Yeah. When things don't happen, it's surprising how quick we can rattle through them. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know whether the listeners / viewers feel that this is quick.
Yeah, it's an
Or
hour.
Yeah, it's an hour still.
It's an hour. But we'll see about next week, because on Friday I'm moving to Dubrovnik. I'm going to uni. I'm moving to my
Ooh.
dorm. So if I can, get some free time next week, we'll do an episode. If I can't, that's why we don't have an episode.
If we can't, he's drunk.
We'll see. So my uni starts next Monday, so in a week. They today sent out an email to everybody, and they said, "Oh, there's gonna be like a get together, like we're sorting out some kind of party for you. There's gonna be drinks," and I'm like, "Drinks? Fair enough."
Let's be honest. I'm not going to talk about what I got up to at university.
Fair enough.
It was not work.
Listen, probably not the same for me.
Yeah. Hopefully not the same for me. Otherwise, you'll end up like me, 38, and doing podcasts.
Actually, another thing, I have. So today, they also released our schedules for uni, and it's like politics, the subject, the class, and I see P. Maldini, the professor, and I'm like, Paolo Maldini.
Yeah, you would be searching the faculty then for that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, sadly it's not. I looked up and I'm like, oh, Piero Maldini, why not Paolo? Like, come on. But it's funny because I also sent it. Because I didn't realize at first. I sent it to my group chat and I'm like, hey guys, this is my schedule for uni, just so everybody knows. So if you have any plans, here's how you can plan around with me. He's like, Paolo Maldini. One of my friends just said Paolo Maldini in all caps, and I'm like, yeah, oh my god. He might have just, you never know. He was maybe just a summer vacation in Dubrovnik. He was like, you know what? I've had enough of this. Let me just teach some kids some politics.
Yeah.
For 2 hours. Yeah, for 2 hours during the week. Camus?
Albert Camus. Is it Camus?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're talking. Yeah, Albert Camus.
I know how it's spelled. I don't know how it's pronounced.
I think it's Camus. I mean, I just had my Batura.
Educated.
I did just get out of school, and one of my last books we had to read. I didn't read it. I listened to it because who has time to read? I can listen to it, but I can't read it. Okay, but yeah, we had Albert Camus. What's it called in English? I was about to say the name in Croatian.
I don't know. It's just one of those things that you would always see in the back of football magazines.
The Stranger? Yeah, The Stranger, yeah.
And they'd have, like philosophy.
Or The Outsider.
And they'd have Camus, whatever, and number on. Just, I don't really know how that took off. I blame Socrates, probably. But, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what his link to football was.
Yeah, neither do I. So, yeah, it's Camus, Richard.
He was a goalkeeper, as per Wiki.
Oh, nice. Well, I mean,
so still don't really know what his link to football was.
Yeah. Hopefully you got okay. I was about to mention Franz Kafka. Don't turn into a bug, dear watchers / listeners. Please don't turn into a bug and your father to strike you with an apple. How have we come to this?
Yeah, we've gone on too long. Once we get past 1 hour and 5, then
as soon as we end all football talk, it's done.
Yeah,
monkey brain just goes ape mode. But yeah, I'm going to uni, so this is how I'm preparing. I'm preparing by mentioning. I'm like, yes, I know, I know some writers. Okay.
Yeah, you're already getting your faux intellectual persona.
Yeah, Yeah, I haven't been in school for 5 months. Okay, like I need to get back into that mindset. Oh no, I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not gonna go back into it. Thankfully, it's uni, so it's not all day that you're gonna be in school for. So yeah, let's go. Let's leave. Thank you guys for listening, and hopefully we'll see you next week, unless I'm drunk. So bye bye.
Bye bye.